At home with my family. We don't need and, do we? Alright, perfect. Well, let's write that one out for your teacher.
Okay.
I'm just going to go and get you a pencil.
Yes.
Sorry, Kaylee. G'day, I'm Brett.
And I'm Mel. We've been living full-time in our 18-foot van cruiser family HTO for the last 2 years.
We've also been putting out a weekly vlog of our travels and adventures for the last 2 years, and we might be just a little bit guilty of romanticising this lifestyle.
We kind of tend to focus on the positives rather than the negatives. Our lifestyle's definitely not easy. There are lots of ups and downs and lots of challenges, and it's definitely not for everyone.
That said, we do really love the way that we're living, but we want to have a go at sharing the less glamorous sides of the way that we live.
Number 1, finding camps.
And parking.
So sometimes you need to be near reception, although that can totally be changed now thanks to Starlink. It can be hard and expensive to find places to stay, especially if you're in a busy area and you have no choice but to go to a caravan park. Sometimes they're so squishy and it's really hard to park, especially with everyone watching.
Other times you're going to be looking for a free camp, and you do find one, but guess what? All of the good sites are taken, and you are left with the smallest, tightest, most unlevel site that's there, and getting the caravan backed into that spot and leveled out can cause a lot of anxiety.
Another problem for us is school holidays and public holidays. They're obviously different in every state. Finding somewhere to stay during these peak busy times can be very expensive and very stressful. We have to be well planned in advance so that we know where we're going and where we're going to stay.
But being planned in advance can be a real pain in the ass. So you might not get to explore an area properly because you get bad weather, so you might want to stay longer. But guess what? You can't, because you've got to move to a schedule because you need to be booked and planned somewhere for those school and public holidays. Basically, we have to be very thoughtful about where we're going to be staying during school holidays, and one of the things that we tend to do is try and stay a lot further away from major cities during those times.
And say you've been organised, you plan in advance, you book somewhere based on an online booking, and you get there and it sucks because you're on a hill, there's no solar, it's full of people, there's 10 million Aussies. It is shit.
We tend to find this is a bit of a problem with hip camps. Hip camps have paid photographers come out and take photos of these campgrounds, and they make the place look really good, but they can be a little bit misleading as to what you're actually getting. We also have this problem a little bit with national parks as well. You just don't know what you get when you're booking from online photos. So
Yeah. National parks, you usually end up next to a toilet or something, which stinks.
yeah, so it can make camping there quite unpleasant. So these are some of the things that cause a bit of anxiety for us when we're finding camps and places to stay.
Number 2, space.
So, space. Yeah, you don't have a lot of it in a van.
We are 4 people living in a 17-foot van. We did make this choice, so we don't really have the right to complain, but luckily that's what this video is all about. But I still think if we had a bigger van, we would encounter these problems.
In such a small space, it doesn't take long for this van to become a pigsty. All it takes is one person working, a few dishes, the kids pulling out their toys, and hey presto, this place is a pigsty. So you have to become really good at being tidy and putting things away when you're finished with them.
Also, if you want to get to one thing, 10 things are going to be in your way. It's a pain in the ass.
Got it. Now, we have what they call an east-west bed, and I get to sleep on the far side. So what that means is anytime I need to get up and go and pee at night, I've got to clamber over Mel. And I can tell you what, after 2 years, it is starting to get a little bit tiresome.
You get used to broken sleep.
Because our space is so limited, we don't have a lot of the luxuries that you would have in a house.
I don't have a dedicated workspace. I work on the bed generally because they can't fit 4 of us with 4 laptops at the desk.
We also don't have a lot of shoes, clothes or toiletries, and packing these things away can feel a little bit like playing a game of Tetris. And sometimes you lose. Number 3, shit jobs. Okay, let's talk about some of the shit jobs that we have to do living on the road. We have what they call a cassette toilet or a chemical toilet. So it's going to last us if we are camping off-grid and cannot use another toilet and can't do any outside bushwees, 2, potentially 3 days at the most. If we're camping somewhere and we can do some bushwees at night, it might last us 3 or 4 days. If we're camping somewhere and we can do bushwees during the day and night, maybe it'll last us 4 or 5 days. So we like to camp in places for about a year. Not about a year, sorry.
About a week.
About a week. So basically that means at least one time during our camp out, we've got to jump in the car, take the toilet cassette somewhere and empty our waste. It's not a very fun job to do. On top of that, we also will have to empty the toilet cassette when we're traveling to our next campsite as well.
So glamorous, this bushwee business. Travel days. It's not just a new adventure. We do have a lot of jobs to do on those days. For example, we have to go find water, dump the toilet, work out where we're going to stay. We have to get food as well as find out where we're going to dump our rubbish. It's not always just go to the next camp and we're good.
It's actually quite tiring. Travel day is a completely wasted day, particularly for me, because driving with the caravan on for a couple of hours is very taxing and quite tiring. So by the time we get somewhere, I'm spent.
Number 4, toileting and hygiene. Toilet in the van is not the nicest experience. You can see the toilet from our bed and it's right near the dining table. For some reason our son decides he has to go number 2 in the middle of dinner, so we've all got to smell it. It is gross.
The space in our toilet is pretty tight. We are lucky that we have a door, but when you close that door, it becomes pretty claustrophobic. So what about showers? Yes, we have a shower in the van, but we only carry 200 litres of water. And as we've already mentioned, we try to camp out in places for a week. So if we were to all shower every day, our water would probably last us about 3 days. So what does that mean? Well, we don't shower every day. We will usually shower every 2nd to 3rd day. It's not that disgusting. If we do get dirty, we will shower. If we do get sweaty, we will shower. But generally speaking, we are camped out on lakes and oceans, so we're swimming as well.
The other thing too is the shower is not like one at home. We get in, we get wet, we turn it off, soap up, turn it back on, turn it off. So you're basically turning the shower on and off just to get all your jobs done. It's not relaxing. You're just trying to be as efficient as possible, save as much water as possible. And it's really a chore actually. Let's talk about laundry. If I had the choice again, I would definitely have a washing machine in the caravan.
But then we would have more problems with water.
So unfortunately we don't, and we have a scrubber bag. So it's all done by hand, wring it out, hang it up. We probably have to do it every 2 to 3 days because the kids get really grubby. So it is a chore, makes life harder when the kids wet the bed, or if it's raining, it is a massive chore.
Manual washing. We are living like peasants, guys.
It's not fun.
Number 5, lack of community. They say that when you're traveling on the road, you're going to meet lots of people and make tons of friends. And look, it's true. You do meet people on the road, but it's not all the time. We have gone months without talking to another adult. And then when you finally do meet someone that you get along with and you click and you've really enjoyed each other's company, guess what?
You have to say goodbye, and you're the worst parent in the world because the kids hate you because you've left someone they made friends with, and it is horrid.
Bye, Clem. I'll miss you again. See you, buddy.
Bye, little bit.
It was a pleasure.
We got to say goodbye a second time. That sucks.
Living on the road means you can't do a lot of things you would do if you lived in a home.
I used to go to the gym all the time, and I used to go to a boxing gym.
I used to go to the movies once a week and hang out with my friends. We can't sign the kids up to community things or chess clubs or...
They're not enrolled in the sports club. Also, you don't have your favourite coffee club where the barista knows how you like your coffee. You don't have your favourite hairdresser who you can trust to give you a good haircut. Hell, you don't even know where you are, so you can't just jump in the car and go for a drive. You've got to pull up a map so you know where you're going. I guess what we're trying to say here is that life on the road can be a little bit isolating, and it can leave you feeling like you're kind of living on the fringe of society.
Number 6, legal stuff. The world is not really set up for people who live a nomadic lifestyle.
There are a lot of questions that you need to find answers to, and it's not very easy to find those answers.
Like, how do you receive your mail? How do you insure your van and car? Make sure your kids are getting a great education? How do you vote in an election? This is all boring stuff, but it's hard to work out on the road.
So,
let's move on.
Because it's boring, let's move on. Number 7, the mercy of the weather. Living in a caravan means you are living at the mercy of the weather. We have camped in some places that started out absolutely beautiful, like you were in a fairy tale, and then the weather turns and you get destroyed. You've got to run with your tail between your legs because you're getting sandblasted with sand getting into absolutely everything.
The wind's so bad your van is shaking, or there's rain coming in the windows because it's blowing vertical. It's just not good. But not only that, we rely on the sun for solar. Our fridge only runs on batteries. It doesn't run on gas. And if we don't have sun for 4 or 5 days, we have to go to a caravan park. We literally become power Nazis. Like, oh, you can't turn that on, can't use that, use a torch. We just don't turn anything on if we don't have to.
We charge up the solar lights and run those at night.
Yeah,
we really have to be conscious of our power usage. Otherwise, we find ourselves in trouble and having to go to caravan parks, which we don't really like doing. Now, adding to our power situation, we've just picked up Starlink, and it is an absolute game changer. We can now have internet anywhere, but Starlink uses a pretty significant amount of power. It runs on 240 only, which means our inverter now needs to be on all day during a work or a school day, and it's usually drawing between 4 to 8 amp hours. So that on top of our fridge usage means we are now starting to not make enough power during the day. So yes, we are always being conscious of our power, and that definitely adds a level of anxiety to your life.
We're always checking the monitor as well, so we can check how low we're getting, and checking on our apps for the battery. So it does mean you're just checking 24/7. It is really frustrating.
Lastly, seasons don't last long enough. One of the advantages of living in a caravan is that we get to chase the sun. So we go north in winter and south in summer. But fuel is getting incredibly expensive, and it just doesn't feel like seasons last long enough. So we're already looking to start heading north now, which means we're going to be blowing another $900 to $1,000 in fuel to make our way north.
And it's expensive. It's so expensive. It hurts every time I go to pay. I'm just like, just don't tell me. Just tap away.
Yeah, if they could stop rising the price of fuel, that would be great.
Awesome. Number 8, mail and shipping. Receiving mail on the road is a logistical nightmare. I mean, we often don't get stuff at shops because we can't find it. Usually it's a specialized item we need, and we have to think where we're going to be, say, 2 weeks out before we order something. The other issue we have is schooling on the road. So we receive 8 packages a year. So that's 2 or 3 a term. So trying to get those items, we need to know 4 weeks in advance where we're going to be. Sometimes things are delayed, or we're running late or early. So we have to backtrack for the items, or we have to call the post office to say we're running late. Please don't send it back, because they do that. If we've missed an item or it's been delayed, we have to then spend 40 minutes on the phone getting it redirected, which does come at a cost to us as well.
So living on the road means you don't just get things delivered to your front doorstep. It is certainly a lot less convenient than living in a house. Number 9, maintenance and repairs. If I'm being honest, things constantly breaking is the thing that I hate the most about this lifestyle. And it's not the big things like you might think. Like, yes, we've done an engine mount in the car, the canopy's just about fallen apart, the caravan swing arm just about broke and caused the wheels to fall off.
We did put a hole in the caravan.
But it's not the big things, it's the little things. Every week there's something that has to be fixed. A door won't be locking properly, there'll be a small leak.
There's a screw on the floor and you don't know where it's from.
I mean, we could sit here and rattle off thing after thing after thing. There is never a dull moment. There is always something on our to-do list. There is always something that needs to be fixed.
Hence a lot of money spent at Bunnings.
Yeah, Bunnings is a very significant money sink for us. But, I mean, the positive side of this is I was not really a practical person before we got on the road.
He was not a handyman.
Living on the road has forced me to become a lot more self-reliant, and I am proud of myself, and I'm proud of what I've learned and how self-reliant we have become.
Number 10, internet.
Unfortunately, we need to have reception for work and school. And until recently, that's meant that we've always had to find somewhere that we were camping that was within signal. We've recently just purchased Starlink, but Starlink doesn't come without its own complications. We've already talked about it being a massive power draw, but on top of that, Starlink needs a line of sight to the sky. So now, when we are finding a camp, we need to keep in mind, are we going to be able to put up the Starlink and get signal and get internet? Because unfortunately, we do need to be connected to the world.
We are data suckers.
So that is just another thing that you are going to be thinking about when you're living on the road like we are. Conclusion.
Okay, so there you have it. 10 reasons why van life sucks. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Just kidding. If you've been watching our videos, you know we do a weekly vlog of our adventures, and we do really love this lifestyle. The new experiences we get to do, quality time with our kids, the people we get to meet, not looking to quit anytime soon.
But if you are considering living full-time on the road like us, we do hope that this video has given you some insights into some of the less glamorous sides of this lifestyle that some of the vanfluencers might not share with you. So, thanks so much for watching the video.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye!